guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Stuff Steve Likes, and I'm Steve, and I talk about stuff that I like. And if you don't like that, then you probably want to turn off the channel here. But I just talk about cool things that I enjoy, and one of the things I definitely like is doing outdoorsy type of stuff, and going camping, going hiking, all that kind of stuff. Our family has a camper, and we go camping usually once to twice a month. Unless it's 105 degrees out, then we stay home. But we do go camping quite a lot compared to most other humans out there. And we build a lot of fires and do a lot of whittling and woodworking and stuff like that. My kids love to whittle, and they are definitely learning the trade. And so that's very cool that they're interested in that. And this last weekend, I taught them how to use this. This is a little hatchet that I picked up. This is the Gransfors Bruk wildlife hatchet, and just a beautiful little piece. It's about 14 inches long, and the head weighs 1 pound, so a great size for backpacking, if you want on a canoe trip, day hike, anything like that. Just a really great size. Has a nice leather sheath. They call it a vegetable tanned leather. And the sheath's very nice here. Let me see if I can get this guy to focus. But it has a little welt in there. I have heard a couple people knock this sheath because it actually has these little studs that go through it here, these grommets. And if you hit the axe really hard on the sheath, it can actually dent the blade. But just be responsible with it and you'll be fine. And it's got the little snap here, and even the snap itself has the Gransfors Bruk logo on it, which is really cool. So a nice little sheath, and that's the sheath there. And this is the axe. I'll bring it up here so you can see it. And as you can see here, it has the maker's mark, Matthias Mattsson, the Gransfors Bruk logo, and then it says Gransfors Bruk, Sweden on it right here. If that'll focus, there we go. Gransfors Bruk, Sweden. But just an absolute joy to handle. This thing is so nice. You know, as a kid, you handle all those cheap, ones that you get at Academy or at Walmart or at Cabela's or, wherever you get your hatchets at, and they just don't cut very well, and they're dull, and the handles don't feel good, and they are what they are. It's a cheap camp axe, but this thing here is the tool to use. This thing is so nice. You hold this in your hands, and all you can say is, I love it, I want it, I have to have it. I don't care how many lunches I have to skip. I don't care how many carpools I have to do next week. I have to have this hatchet. That's how nice it is. And I will just say that this thing is ridiculous sharp. Just look at the edge on this. Look at the detail on that edge. Just how nice they've honed it. They've beveled it. The angle's very thin on this hatchet, but man, it just slices like crazy. It's not the best wood splitter, but actually, I split some decent sized kindling with it last weekend. I mean, you can see it's a pretty thin, thin axe. It's not made for splitting. That's what a splitting axe is for. And when we go camping, I do actually have a splitting maul that I take with if I have to do any big oak stumps or anything like that. But man, for doing kindling and fine detail work, this thing is incredible. I just have kind of a junk piece here of some pine, and I'm just going to do a couple chops here to show you. Look at how deep that's biting, and that was a flick of the wrist. Literally, this thing is ridiculous. And just how fine that cutting is, and it just really digs into the wood. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It just digs into the wood extremely well. I could probably, with 4 chops, I could probably cut this all the way through with 4 chops, just one on each corner. I'm not sure if I can do it, but we'll try it. I've already done that one. 1, 2, 3, for, well, not quite, but it wouldn't take much. So there we go. Well, it wasn't 4 hits, but you can see that this baby's definitely got some cutting power. And also for fine detail work, this little thing here is a great spot for your finger, and you can hit your thumb on the vac, or you can put it on the vac like this. Fine detail probably like this, a little bit more power like that, but if you want to do some detail work, I mean, it's just so stinking sharp. There's no words to describe it until you get it in your hands. But it's just, you know, absolutely crazy sharp. And that thin edge, while not a great splitter, for absolutely everything else, this thing is the perfect tool for the job. I actually use this rather than a knife a lot of the times. I always take my Mora knives or my Buck Mesa as an outdoor knife, but man, 90% of the time I'm reaching for this, just because it's so, you have so much power just with the littlest cuts. I mean, I'm just flicking my wrist here. I'm just flicking my wrist is all I'm doing, and you can see, wouldn't that make a nice piece of firewood? It's going to catch all those on fire really quickly. I mean, if you're using a knife to do that, and this, you know, this Buck Mesa is a really great knife, but you're having to, you know, push and put more elbow work into it, and that's working really nicely there. I mean, you can see how that's cutting nice and deep and nice and clean. But I can tell I'm wearing my wrist out doing that. Where this thing here, I can just, again, you know, I can do that, and it's just such a breeze. The weight is doing the work for you. It's like, you know, it's like a wrestler, you know, whoever weighs the most is probably going to win. It's like, well, which one's going to win when it comes to, you know, working with wood? Well, I believe that the Hatchet wins, just because it has that extra weight, and it has that, you know, it just really has that force when you do your chops. So excellent little hatchet. I just love this thing. And look at the grain of the wood, how it's nice and lined up. It's very tight grain, and it's going this way, and that's what you want. You want the grain to go this way, not this way, because when you're putting the force on the axe, you want the grain to line up like this, and it does that very well. And just look at the head on this and how nicely crafted that is. And they don't hide anything. They show you all the hammer falls, all the forge work and everything, and they just, you know, they even say on one of their promo videos, they basically used to do all that stuff. They used to grind them and paint them and all that stuff. But they wanted to show you that they made this with a human hand, you know. They use big forge machines. I'll put a link to their website and a couple YouTube videos that show how they're made and show all the details of the company. But man, I just got to tell you, this thing is just incredible, and I would definitely recommend it for you if you're any kind of outdoorsman. This is a must-have. It's a must-have. It's just so nice. You know, if you've got somebody in your life that is into outdoors stuff, bushcraft, camping, anything, and you bought them this for Christmas or for a birthday or something, they would love you forever. And this is a lifetime tool. This is something that will last a lifetime, that will never lose its value, and that will always be a viable tool in an emergency or in the woods. So that's the Gransfors Bruk Wildlife Hatchet. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you tune back in for more videos. Thank you.